Yes, my people, welcome back to BigTimes Podcast again. So, my people, today we have a very interesting topic, and the topic is about the hidden scam in the banking sector in Kenya. So, my people, the Kenyan skyline is filled with glass towers, shining logos of banks that promise to keep your money safe. The banks that promise to grow your savings and give you the financial freedom. You walk around the Nairobi Upper Hill or the Nairobi CBD and you'll see them very polished building that screams success, that screams wealth and trust. But here's the twist. For millions of Kenyans, especially the young people, these banks feel less like trustworthy customers and more like licensed thieves. It's a story that we don't like to talk about because, let's be real, who dares question a whole banking system? But today we are flipping the table and asking the question everyone whispers but rarely says out loud. Are banks actually helping Kenyans, or are just they scamming us in the broad daylight? Now imagine this. You open up a saving account, excited to finally start saving. You deposit your first salary. You really feel proud of it, You feel like, yes, I'm being responsible with my money. Fast forward after a few weeks, you check your balance, it's lower. Not because you withdrew the money, not because you bought anything, but because the bank has eaten it through something called maintenance fee. And then there's another fee called the SMS alerts. And then there's a fee for ledger balance. You didn't ask for this, you didn't sign up for this, but the bank still takes it. It feels like someone broke into your house, stole your snacks, and then left a receipt on the table saying that this was a service. Almost half of Kenyan's bank customers have said that they are unhappy with this nonsense. And can you blame them? It's like getting punished for saving, And let's not forget the keys. If you have ever stood in the Kenyan bank, you know the pain. You wait for 2 hours, sweating, clutching your ID like it's your last hope, only to get up to the counter and you hear the dreaded words, "System equal down." That's an irony, The system for deducting your fee is never down. It works 24/7, sharp like a Nairobi traffic cop waiting at the corner. It's almost like the bank have perfected one thing, taking your money, and everything else is an afterthought, But maybe you are thinking, okay, maybe it's worth it because at least my money is safe there, right? That's a wrong idea, More and more Kenyans have been complaining on social media that money just vanishes, unauthorized. Unauthorized deductions, mysterious stand orders, and investigations that never end. One guy posted that around 1,200 Kenyan shillings just disappeared overnight. And then he called the bank. They promised to investigate. 3 months later, nothing. Imagine rent day is here and your landlord doesn't want to hear about the bank investigating. They want their money now. These aren't just little inconveniences. They are real survival issues. You need food, you need rent, transport. This has gone wrong because of banking errors or shady deductions. And when it comes to loans, things only get messier, So let's talk about the digital lenders. A young Kenyan recently borrowed 4,200 Kenya shillings to pay for medical scan. And guess how much they actually received? Just 3,000 Kenya shillings, The rest was swallowed by fees before the money even hit their accounts. But the repayment times came. They were expected to pay 4,700 Kenya shillings. When they missed the deadline, the lender went up full cycle. Over 300 messages from more than 15 different numbers. Threats, insults, harassments. Can you imagine your phone buzzing every second with abuse because you are late on a loan? That's not finance. That's emotional torture. And here is the crazy part. Banks aren't the difference. Sure, they don't spam you with insult, but their fine print is just as ruthless. They just wear nicer suits while doing it. Even privacy isn't safe, Remember the White Path case? A digital lender listed someone as a guarantor without their consent. The person never agreed. The person never signed. He did nothing, but suddenly they were responsible for someone else's loan. Imagine waking up one morning and find out that you are a guarantor for a debt you never heard of, And that's the kind of violation that makes you wonder if your financial information in Kenya is even yours. Because whether it's bank or lenders, your data feel like it's up for grabs, So let's talk about the youth, the Gen Zs, the hustlers. Let's talk about the students and the freelancers, Everyone loves to say that the Gen Zs are reckless with money. They can't save, that they borrow too much, that they are addicted to loaners. But hold on, my people. How are you supposed to save when the banks keep biting chunks of accounts with hidden charges? How are we supposed to build credit when every loan application at a bank feels like applying for a visa to Mars? They want security, they want guarantors, they want land title deeds. Like, bro, I just want 20k to invest in a small hustle, not buy acre in Karen. So meanwhile, the same banks hand over billions to politicians and big corporations without taking blinks. It's a two-faced system. If you are broke, you stay broke. And if you are rich, here is more money, So, and while banks are frustrating us with poor service and hidden charges, their profits are skyrocketing. Every year, headlines brag about how Kenyan banks made billions. The CEOs smile in glossy reports. Shareholders clap. Luxury cars are brought. But who's funding these profits? You are. Every SMS fee, every hidden charges, every unexplained deductions add up. Banks aren't making money by helping us grow. They're making money by squeezing us dry, Meanwhile, digital lenders keep pulling in millions of Kenyan each month. In just 3 years, they have disbursed loans worth 76.8 billion Kenyan shillings. But these loans are often short-term, with crazy high interest. People don't borrow for investment. They borrow to survive, to pay for school fees, to get food, to fix emergencies, and the repayment pressure traps them deeper in debt, It's like quicksand. The more you borrow, the harder it gets you out, So the truth is, both banks and loan apps are part of the same toxic cycle. One hides behind glass towers and polished ads, and the other hides behind app downloads and quick cash. But for the ordinary Kenyans, the result is the same: stress, harassment, and money that never seems to stretch for far enough, So where do we go from here? Kenya has already started regulating loan apps, forcing them to stop harassment that disclose their terms and more clearly. But banks, they're still untouchable. Regulators need to step in and demand that fees are clear and fair, that customer service actually works, that data privacy is respected, and that loans are accessible without being traps. Because right now, the people who most need help are those ones being punished the hardest. And at the end of the day, the money is supposed to save the people. not the other way around, But in Kenya, the system feels flipped. Banks are winning, customers are losing, and young people are the ones paying the highest price. This isn't just bad service, it's exploitation dressed up in professionalism, So next time you walk into a shiny banking hall, you need to ask yourself, are you really entering a place of trust or just stepping into a system designed to take more than it gives? And the real question for Kenyans Gen Z is, will we keep accepting this system that harasses us? Or are we the generation that finally forces changes, Because one thing is clear, the way things are going right now, the future of banking in Kenya looks less like empowerment and more like a scam that we will all pay for, So my people, this is all for today. Remember to subscribe to BigTimes Podcast, like the video, share, and comment. So you also remember to follow us on Facebook, on TikTok, and other social media platforms. So thank you guys.